When school from home was announced, I felt really sad.
Deeply conflicted.
Absolutely terrible.
Mar gaye.
Disbelief.
I felt empowered to accept the challenge.
I was very anxious.
Challenged.
I was apprehensive but hopeful.
Perplexed.
Pretty speechless.
The pandemic took us completely unawares. Overnight, we had to close school with no definite time frame about when we'd start again, and instead we had to go online.
We suddenly had to prepare for a situation no one has ever dealt with before.
There was this excitement in the air with all our kids sharing, "Yay, we don't have to come to school." But also, there was a heavy layer of anxiety and uncertainty.
We had so many questions going through our heads. How do you do sensory motor therapy without being near the child?
Our students thrive on routine, and suddenly there was no routine at all.
What should an online school day look like? Do we do all synchronous classes? Do we do some async?
I was also worried how difficult it would be for our parents to manage their work and manage kids being at home for 8 hours a day.
Words that were alien to us before and now that we had to wrap our heads around.
No sort of work experience or educational qualification prepares you for a pandemic.
To make sure that students had a balanced amount of screen time during their day, we had to make multiple edits to the timetable in collaboration with the homeroom team and the parents so that it was just right for that particular homeroom.
We were not really just all about covering up the academic content, but we wanted to deliver the therapies, arts, gym, and even have comforting spaces like morning homeroom and grandstand as a part of the student schedule.
The first change that we made that was a massive game changer was to proactively provide eye care to all of our students and our teachers who are now having such a long screen time duration. So we put these into all academic classes and ensure that there's an activity or an exercise or eye break taking place every 20 minutes.
One was bringing in the logical consequences in a virtual space where we leveraged breakout rooms and waiting rooms for kids when they had behavior meltdown. The second was the mental health helpline that we brought in for parents, for the team members, where they could reach out to us in the moment of need when they were feeling emotionally low.
We put more emphasis on expression in all the three arts rather than just skill building. So students upcycled material at home, they used objects in the visual art class, or learning about the choices of musical genres of their peers, or expressing through their body and senses in the drama class.
One of the structures that we changed for virtual schooling is that we moved to small group teaching so we could cater to each and every child seamlessly, and we mindfully shuffle them.
We had to prepare students for the uncertainty related to how exams would be conducted. Prepare students for all scenarios. If exams are going to be physically conducted, online, or they're going to be based on internal assessments.
This led us to problem solve how to support students through the summer so they don't forget what they were taught and they are prepared to take the exams whenever it happens.
We looked at combining movement and learning as much as possible so that the students were moving throughout their classes. This worked really well because it helps learning as well.
The admin team went all out to support with whatever was needed at the back end. Especially most of that at that time was just providing laptops for all our students and team members.
We did a workshop with our parents on how to communicate with their children as they were now spending more time with them than they ever had before. We also did regular check-ins with both students and parents to see their progress and if they needed any of our support along the way.
What also worked for us is that we leveraged tools that were already known to our children. So we used a humble PPT, we used Zone, we used Study Ladder, many other online manipulatives that we had been using even face-to-face.
And also working in close partnership with the parents to create an ideal environment at home that allows the students to learn all the three arts better, which meant like having easy access to art materials or having an environment that supports learning in a drama or music class.
We put up a live virtual showcase called the Downside Up. where the children shared their COVID experiences, basically COVID through their lens. They also reached out to different members of the community, be it doctors, essential workers, BMC officials, and found out their perspective about COVID as well. Basically, the children showed us that they can put up a show anywhere.
The theme of our Language Arts Week this year was friendship, and our students, teachers, and the Gateway community at large, although distanced from each other in the safety of their homes, connected with each other online. Our students participated through drawings, music, songs, dance, and drama.
We were determined not to let the pandemic beat us. And so instead, we chose to launch our professional development program online. We were really surprised at how successful the model was. We even had international participants and participants from all over India.
We realized that we were generating immense learning during the virtual time and wanted to share our experiences with the larger community. Keeping in mind our mission and vision of spreading the best practices, we started hosting online webinars. We've had neuroscientists, psychologists, and experts in the field of nutrition, physical and mental well-being, and education.
As an organization, we started recognizing fatigue was setting in. Longer weekends were welcomed by both team members and parents. We started encouraging team members to take time off to prioritize your own mental health.
When the lockdown was announced, Gateway went into maintenance mode. We were extremely concerned about our students. As the world adapted to this uncertainty, the resilience and the patience of our children really surprised us. They are our true champions.
Nanya grew confident, worked with her anxiety issues, did a lot of speech therapy, and the one big positive change we saw is that her drool is almost gone thanks to Gateway's one-on-one therapies with her.
Undesirable behaviors have almost disappeared and the learning is accelerated because I think all the anxiety of being around people is gone. So it's been a good year for Rohit.
The kids did mention that they're missing physical school, but now we think that they have settled in with all the structures in place and they've gone ahead and scheduled their own Zoom links with their friends.
Honestly, they did far better than what we had expected.
Students persevered and finally cleared their board exams and made us proud.
With all the learning at Gateway, our teachers were able to transfer all their lessons from a physical space to virtual classes. It was really hard for them to strike a balance between their own families and Gateway, which they did beautifully. What came out of this pandemic was that our parents were in the classrooms and were able to observe the kind of effort that goes into planning and executing every lesson. We forever are indebted to our team members.
Gateway adapted spectacularly and really surprised us all and the children with how ingeniously they found ways to get the kids to do learning, but in a very fun way.
Gateway adapted to online learning like fish to water. It seemed so effortless and easy. And most importantly, the learning was also imparted very creatively.
Pleasant surprise. That's what this year has been for us.
This has been one of the most productive years for my child.
Learning never stops at Gateway, and even the pandemic couldn't stop.